Dark. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Australia, and as it's Tuesday night, this is my weekly online class to go. And this week the featured set is the Jar of Joy stamp set and the Sweet Jar Builder Punch. So for those who are not familiar with the online class, each week I offer an online class, and if you place an order of $75 or more, which is before shipping and after any Stampin' rewards are redeemed, I will send you the kits to make 2 each of the 3 designs from tonight's class. So the kits have all the cardstock, designer series paper, ribbon, twine that you need. You just need to add the stamps, inks, that sort of stuff. Any embossing is done for you. Any die cuts that are not part of the featured bundle are included, but any that are part of the featured bundle are not. So for this week's class, any of the punch jar shapes are not included. You'll get the cardstock to stamp and punch the jar. You just don't get it pre-punched. It's also a lot easier to stamp and then punch rather than the other way around. So let me just switch this around and I will show you the cards. So these are the 3 cards for tonight's class, and so this is the stamp set. So this is one of the online exclusives stamp sets, and it coordinates with the Sweet Jar Builder Punch. So this is part of the Sweet Jar bundle, so there is another stamp set that coordinates with this punch as well. So this one you don't get the 10% discount for buying it as a bundle. The punch is bundled with a different stamp set if you want the bundle, but you can still buy both separately, of course. All right, let's put those to the side, and we will start with this one. Now, the Jar of Joy stamp set is it's a 2-step stamping set, and as many of you may know, 2-step stamping is not my strength, and I just realized I need to switch that card base out. Don't mind me, I just need to grab another card base, but that's all right. I keep tubs of pre-cut and scored card bases in all the colors, which makes it much quicker. All right, let's get this right way around. All right, so put that to the side for a moment. So I have done this most of the stamping already, but I will still show you how to do, and that one didn't punch very well, and that was the other reason I am waiting on a replacement punch. But I will show you how what I find to be the easiest way to line up the images, because I'm not great with 2-step stamping, but this one isn't too bad for me, at least. So for this one, I have used Stamped Off Pecan Pie for the main image, and then Real Red for the sort of outline. So I will grab my sort of solid image first, and actually let me just to make it a bit easier, I'll just quickly, now for this one, for the card I actually used Barely Espresso, but this was what I had right in front of me, so this is just for a sample. So ink up your solid image, and then we're going to stamp off, and then line it up as best you can. I try and line up the outside edge, and I'm not sure how well you can see that in the camera, the outside edge of the top heart and the outside edge of the round cookie with the lines, the inside line of the jar, and that's not too bad. So that's the first one. That's the easy part, really. This is the one that I tend to struggle with, but the easiest way I find with this one, once you ink it up, if you line up the bow and the 2 dots of the gingerbread man, if you can line those up as best you can and just check that the sort of the center of the star is roughly centered, that's going to give you the best chance. So excuse my head if it ends up in the camera view. So the main thing I'm looking for is the 2 dots on the gingerbread man, and then the bow, the center of that star on the left seems to be roughly centered, and hopefully I don't completely mess this up. And there we go, not too bad. For me, that's actually very good. This is not my strength, but that's about what you're looking for. So those 2 dots and the bow, they're the best things to get lined up. Don't stress too much about trying to line every little part of it up. You'll spend forever doing it and probably still not get it quite right. Focus on those 2, check that that one's about where it should be, and go from there. And 2-step stamping does take a bit of practice. Some sets are easier than others. I find if you're struggling, have a look for some different videos that are around. People have different hints and tips for each one as to what they find work. I found this one works for me. You might have a different option, but I'm actually happy with that because not my strong point, but I've actually managed to do all the cards for this, and I'm also featuring this set for my Happy Mail Card Club, which launches in September. So I've done all the stamping for that as well. All right. So here's one I prepared earlier, and then I've just stamped the lid, and then I just coloured with a Real Red blend. And then we have a couple of die cuts. So these are from the Meant to Be dies. So these are hexagon dies. These are now on the last chance list. So if you've been wanting to get these, now is the time to do it. And then a label from the Mixed Labels, and then DSP and your insert. All right, let's do the sentiment before I forget. So I'm using Early Espresso for the sentiment, and I'm just using the Wishing You the Sweetest Christmas sentiment, and I'm just gonna have a quick squeeze to see. Yes, okay, so comments are not quite showing as I would like, but I've got them up now. So hello Renee, hello Dimity, thank you for joining. I do appreciate you both joining me every week. All right, let's just make sure I've actually, yes, make sure I've actually got the right ink pad. And this one, I do need to re-ink this one, so I'm gonna, and this is one of the old ones, so I need to press in a bit firmer on it. It needs some more ink. I keep forgetting to do it. Alrighty. So let's put that to the side. And now we can start putting everything together. So the DSP is from the Country Woods Design Series paper pack, and I'll just use seal for this one. And while I remember, just a reminder, I have the both the paper share and the ribbon share. I have extended the deadline, the ordering deadline for that to the end of this week. So if you haven't already signed up for that and you wanted to, you've got a few extra days to do so. And also the 12 weeks of Christmas. If you haven't signed up for the make and take kits to go with that, the deadline for that is also the end of this week. I figured I may as well extend the ribbon and paper share to the end of the week and do all the additional ordering at once. Alrighty. Let's get that one down. I don't need to do the ribbon behind on this one because I've just done it behind the sentiment panel rather than wrapped around. Alright. Now, I can't remember which one I was doing first. I think I will do the not the outside, the inside one first, just because if I do the outside one and don't actually have it straight and aligned properly, then the other part's not going to work. So I'll do that one. Really should have done adhesive sheets for this one, but that's all right. This one's not too bad. I did actually remember to use my adhesive sheets on the weekend for some of my projects that I was working on. Almost always forget until after I die cut. Alrighty, let's get that down and we'll just nudge things into place. Alrighty, just try and, I think doing the inside one first is better because you can then adjust the outside to make sure it fits and is aligned as best you can. Doing it the other way around, if you don't have it, the outside one exactly perfect, you may find it doesn't quite sit the way you want. All right, now where did I put? Here it is, my silver trim, and I'm just going to grab, I'm going to cut two pieces just a bit shorter than the width. There. Oh no, I dropped it, of course. Of course. Alrighty. Let's try again. So I'm just going to tape these to the back if I can get the glue off my fingers, because it's a little bit easier. I'll just do one at a time and make sure I've actually got it in view. I'm still getting used to the slightly different positioning of the camera, and I keep dropping stuff, keep forgetting that it's not in exactly the same position as before, but that's all right. So we'll just line up that second one, add some more tape over the top, and that should be fine. I might just adjust those, and then I'll stick another extra little bit over the two of them down there, and then pop this up on dimensionals. Grabbed an extra one there. I actually used my black dimensionals on the weekend. I haven't used those in a very long time. I keep forgetting about them, but they actually go really well with the Modern Christmas, I think it's called Modern Christmas suite from, I think the Modern Christmas one is, I can't remember if it's online exclusives or the catalogue, but I think it's online exclusives because it's black and white and gold. If you've got pieces that you want to pop up on dimensionals that are in black cardstock, it is so much better if you've got black dimensionals, because then they're not as visible from the sides, or they're not really visible at all from the sides because they're black. And I have to admit, it's been a very long time since I've used them, but they are really good. All right, now we need to pop this one up. Where did my dimensions go? I put them back, didn't I? Yes, I did. So, and actually I should have, see what I should have done, I should have put the top on. So what I will do, leave that sitting down, I'm just going to get, because I actually want a small dimensional, just want a little bit, I don't want a full size piece. I need something a bit narrower because it's just going on the top of the lid, and that's coming too far down. There we go. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue along here just so I can glue this to the top of the jar, and then I've got the dimensional to have behind, so let's just adjust that, take the dimensional backing off, that way it all sits up nicely and doesn't go all over the place. Now I need, where is it hiding? There it is. We just need a small piece of twine. So this is the Real Red and White twine, and I'm just going to tie a small knot. I'm actually going to do it this way before I cut it, just because it will, well, in theory it will be easier than trying to do it with a super short piece, because I only need a little bit. Let's see how long it takes me to get this right. Oop. You could be here a while. Just talk amongst yourselves. Alrighty, this should be enough, because we just want to wrap it around the lid. We don't need all that much. I'll cut it a bit longer than I need, just so I can wrap it around. And I should have put adhesive behind. Possibly did in my sample card. I know I've got a glue dot at the front, but let's just get that around. And I will chuck in a glue dot so it doesn't move so much. Now, the good thing with glue dots is you can roll them up a bit. And squish them behind. Now, can I think that one side is probably too short, but let's see. Can I get it through? Yes, I can. Just there we go. And then all that is left for this one is to add. So these are the Real Red and White adhesive backed peppermints. So these carried over from last year. And we'll add a few more down the bottom. Alrighty, that is the first one done. We do need to add and that hasn't, where's my folder? That hasn't folded as well as I'd like. There we go, that's better. Alrighty, I suppose we should check insert in, and I'll throw things all over my desk. Hello Jane, nice to see you. Oh, try not to destroy things before I've even finished them. Alrighty, so yep, get all the little scraps out of the way. That is the first one done. Alrighty, let's put that one to the side, and the second one, which is this one. So I'm going with a lot of non-traditional colours in this one. So this one has a Lost Lagoon card base, and then the kits have, so we have some Great Granite. This is from the Nests of Winter DSP. So this is another one that carried over. We have Not Stylish Shape, Spotlight on Nature dies, some embossed cardstock, and another jar, and I've got a lid hiding in there. So same with the first one, the lid, I just coloured with the Real Red Stampin' Blends. And then I will quickly show you the, now actually I just realised I didn't get, I should show you how to do the Santa, not Santa, snowman. And so there is one stamp that has that does both the scarf and the little stripe on the hat. So I will just, no, I didn't get that one out either. I need the snowman. So I'll just show you how to do those. Just trying to find all my blocks. I actually just ordered a whole bunch of new blocks. Alrighty, so snowman, I just used Memento Black. So you'd stamp the jar, line up the Santa so that the lines of the snow match up with sort of the edge of the inside lines on the jar. And then so you can see you've got the gap there and the line at the top. So if you just ink it up, and so you just want to try and line up the two. So I try and, you'll see as you move it, and you probably, actually, let's see if I can see how well this is going to zoom in. Just gonna, I'm not sure how far I can go, but let's see. Okay, I think that's about as far as I can go. So I don't know how well you will see this, but if you're over, when you've got the red, when it's, and excuse my head if it ends up in the camera, when it's over the black, you'll sort of see that it's, yeah, kind of dark, and then as you move over the white space, it gets a bit lighter. So you've got darker, light. So when you've got that stripe over the lighter bit, and the scarf you think is roughly where it needs to be, bearing in mind, yeah, you haven't got a lot of room to move here, and hopefully I don't, there we go, that actually worked. I'm always very nervous doing this on camera because it is not my strength, but yeah, I go with lining up the line of the hat for this one. You've got a bit more room to move with the scarf and the positioning of that, so focus on that line and hopefully the rest will be fine. Similar to the gingerbread, focus on the 2 dots and the bow, and the rest will hopefully all fall into place and be a lot easier. All right, let's zoom back out. Otherwise, everything will end up being out of view. Just gotta make sure I don't go too far. Alrighty, hopefully that's okay. All right, now I forgot where I'm up to. All right, so, and I just realized the other gems I need. That's all right, I'll get those later. So for this one, I have just embossed the white cardstock with the Soft Waves embossing folder, and then I've just torn it. And you can go with either side, whether you want the raised, actually that's the raised side, or the debossed side. You can go with either one, and just tear it to your liking. Normally I wouldn't have a big ditch like that, but that's actually going to be covered, so I'm not worried. Although I will double check that it all lines up as I think it's going to. And basic white for the inside. Alrighty, so I'm just going to do a quick check, because this one you've got to have to get the ordering right for this one, so I'm just making sure that's all going to work, and it is. So I will put these 2 together, and I need to remember to wrap the twine first before I stick it on the card front. Alrighty, let's get this one down. Now the twine needs to go behind the circle, so we're going to wrap it around twice, and I want the bow to go roughly to the edge of here. So let's straighten this up a bit, so it's roughly halfway, give or take a little, and the bow is going to go sort of roughly there. So I'm just going to make sure that's going to sit about there, so that is about right. So before I tie that properly, I'm just going to flip it over and tape it down so it doesn't move so much. And that will just make it much easier. And I'll just chuck this in place just so that I can see where I need it to go, and I'll grab a glue dot. There's one sitting right there. It's always right in front of me. So I'm going to stick that about there, put that first bit over, And if I can get this second one down, there we go. I'll take that out for now. Just press down. Actually, I need to go this way. Press that down so it's actually sticking nicely. And I'm just going to cut this off now because it's going to get in the way. Alrighty. And try not to make a mess of this. And I have, well, actually, it'll be fine. I'm also going to have the circle over the top of on that side, so it'll help. It will help keep it all stuck. And I ended up with way too much, but that's all right. Actually starting to run out of this stuff. Might need to get some more. All right, let's put that down. So we want it right over that, and we do, did I actually do that on the right side? I think I did. Yes, I did, because it's too, it won't work on the other side, it's too close. Don't mind me. Just second guessing myself. So we want this to sit flat because we've got to put the other embossed cardstock over the top, even though this is sitting up on twine, but that's all right. So we'll stick that down, and then this one will sit over the top, and again we'll use the green glue because it tends to work a bit better with embossed cardstock. Just get the ends of the twine out of the way so you don't accidentally stick those down in the process. And green glue also means you've got time to adjust slightly if you need to. Alrighty. So we'll need that again in a sec, but that's all right. So we're going to, this one we are going to pop up, but I just realized we have a little bit more stamping that we need to do, and I have a feeling I'm going to need grey, no, smoky slate. And what's the bet? No, it's not up here, but it is just behind me. So, and I'm pretty sure I saw it. Grey, smoky slate. There we go. I'm just going to grab both just in case. All right. Now, which one? I'm pretty sure that's, I think it's smoky slate. Normally I've got my notebook next to me that has everything I used just in case, but that is in the living room. But let's just test this out. Yes, I think I may have just stamped off a little. That's all right. So we're not, and I'm just going to get all the bits of fluff off. Don't have to do anything too fancy, just stamp and around. Doesn't have to be perfect, just add a little bit. And then I also did some, now I wouldn't normally stamp on stuff when it's stuck onto my project at this stage, but I messed up, so I'm going to have to, and hope for the best. Just thankfully it's a small stamp, and just want to try and avoid stamping on any of the other bits and pieces, and I'm not too worried if I do too much sort of close to the center or anything like that, because it's it's some of it will be covered anyway, and you can always, and I'm just going to find, if you need to, you can always mask, and and if you do mess it up, just cover the messed up bits with embellishments. Seriously. Alright, now let's, so because you can see the bit that I kind of went a bit over too far, that's going to be covered up, so it's going to be fine. Alright, let's add a little bit of glue, and I've got little bits of fluff, probably from my gloves. So we just add a little bit to that, stick that one down, and there they are, in front of me, always in front of me. Alright, these are really sticking together. Let's just chuck a bunch of these on. Okay, yep, it's gonna be uneven, it'll bug me. And get all the backings off, and hopefully they won't stick to my hands. And apologies if you can hear my dog snoring and snorting in the background. She decided that she wanted to join me tonight, so she's on the couch behind me. She is behaving for now, which is very good of her. She's just a very loud snorer and snorter. Alrighty, there it is. Now, because I'm sticking this on embossed cardstock, I'm just going to stick it flat. And so I did stamp this one ahead of time, and I just used just real red ink for this one. And just straighten that up a bit, and then because I forgot to I got all my other gems out, at least I think I got all my other gems out earlier, but not those ones I forgot. So there we are, found them. So for this one I'm using the Faceted Gems Trio Pack. So these are relatively large gems, and you've got the three different, so I'm just using the pool party or pool party-ish ones. I think they're meant to be pool party. Either way, they go with this one. So I wanted to use something a bit different. Using the peppermint adhesives quite a bit, so I decided should have something a bit different. All right, oh, insert. Gotta do the insert. Let's move that out of the way because we don't need that for now. And this is going to need replacing soon. Will it last until the end of these? We shall see. Oh, I'm an idiot. I haven't even put it on the base. So, seeing as I've got glue on that, I thought it was a bit odd. I don't usually fold it until the end. I'm like, why is it already folded? I don't normally fold it. I hadn't. But I will fold this one now, and then we will stick that down. Been a long week and it's only Tuesday. Alright, actually I shouldn't have done that because that makes it a bit harder. That's alright. Yeah, it'll be fine. Alrighty, there we go. Now it's done. Now it is finished. Alrighty, that is card number 2. And let's just move those out of the way, and we'll bring the final one back in. There's my card base. Where has it gone? Oh, there's the kit. There's the card. Starts off all nice and neat at the start, and then very quickly descends into a bit of chaos. Alrighty, so this one is a grey granite base, and I have pre-stamped this one and punched, partly because I am waiting on a replacement for my punch. I do have a punch here, it's not working as well as it should, so I figured it would be safer to do it all ahead of time. And so now basic work for the insert: Misty Moonlight, some more from the Country Woods DSP, so a different one to the first card. This is Cloud Cover, one of the ink colours, which I've embossed with the Forever Played embossing folder. Some basic beige for the sentiment, which we will stamp in a sec, and then these three. So in terms of the colours, this one here is full strength pecan pie with real red. This one is crumb cake and real red, and this one is crumb cake and stamped off pecan pie. And the jars for those are, think, yeah, I just did basic black for the jars. All right. And so if you need, for anyone coming in a bit later, if you go back to the first card, if you missed that, I showed you how I line up the stamp, or the second part of the stamp, because it's a two-step stamping set. So the points I focus on are those two dots and the bow. So if you missed that, go back to the first card. I did a sample showing you how to line those ones up. That's what I have found works best for me. Can take a bit of practice, as with any two-step stamping, but I found this one isn't too bad, considering it is not my strength, but I found this one to be okay. Just focus on those points and you should be fine. All right, now sentiment for this one, I am using Misty Moonlight, and so this is just on the basic beige, and I'm just going to check because I can't remember if this one needed a bit of inking or not, but it seems to be okay. And then I'm just going to just cut on an angle. Oh, that was quite close actually, but that's all good. Didn't go too far, which is good. All right, now this one does not have any twine, although you could add twine around any of the lids if you wanted to. I may well do that later. I've got that extra bit from the other card, which I think is what I ended up doing on the first one when I was doing my sample card. I had a couple of bits that were a bit too long and decided to use those little bits. So this one, so now I think, just trying to check, I think the measurements that I've given in the tutorials, so for those who are doing, who are getting the kits, you do get the PDF tutorial as well. And I'm pretty sure, I'm just going to double check, but yes, I did this one so that the two pieces line up exactly rather than overlapping. So you just want to be careful when you stick them down. Just make sure you've got that you don't go too far in either direction. You can, if you would prefer, you can just overlap one over the other. I decided because I wasn't adding, normally if I'm, a lot of the time if I'm overlapping, I will add ribbon or twine over the join. This one I didn't, and a lot of the join is covered by the jars anyway, so it's not a massive issue if you decide to cut one piece a little bit bigger and overlap. So just get the edges even and just push up into the cloud cover piece, and you should be all good. And then we shall stick this down before we add the jars. All right, now 2 of these are going to sit flat. 1 is going to be raised up. I'm going to adhere the lids before I stick any of them down. And of course, if you wanted to, you could colour the jar lids as well. I just decided to leave these ones uncoloured, but if you would prefer coloured jar lids, go for it. Yeah, come on. Come on. Yeah, okay, that'll do. Close enough. Alright, last one. And there we go. Alrighty, so the pecan pie real red is going at the front, the others are going at the back. I'm just going to check the placement to make sure I'm happy with it before I stick anything down. So you just want to keep a roughly even border from each side, and then that one will sit in the middle a bit further down, so that is fine. We can stick this one down now. And the next one. Just try and keep it similar height. Unless you don't want the same height, then you can go with whatever you prefer. Just because I've done them same height doesn't mean you have to. They are sticking to my nails more than the paper. There we go. And then we just get all those backings off. Okay, last one, I think. Is that the last one? Nope, there's one more. Alrighty, that's the last one. So we'll stick that one down there. And I probably should have stuck these jars a little bit higher up, but that's alright. I will just bring the sentiment down ever so slightly. Okay. just get that centered. I'm going to bring it down a little further than my sample card just because the jars are sitting a bit lower down than I intended, but that's fine. And then all we need, apart from the insert, let's do the insert now before I forget. And let's see if this is going to last. And it does. All right. Just try and actually stick it down where I need it. Everything is just sticking to my hands at the moment. That's all right. Let's fold this one over and then we'll add some more of the embellishments. There we go, that should do it. You can always add more if you like, of course. All right, that is the third one. Let me bring the others back in. And move some of this out of the way. All right, so these are the 3 cards from this week's online class to go. I hope you enjoyed the projects. Let me just change my camera back. Oh, you like the last one, Jane? Thank you. Yes, I do too. I really like that one. That was, I'd seen it, a similar one in a completely different color style, color scheme, which I actually really liked, but I decided to try something different, and it came together better than I expected. So I am really happy with how that one turned out. And is this changing back? My camera, there we go. A little bit of a delay, depending on which screen I'm in. One is pretty much instant, the other one there's a delay and it looks like it's not working. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the projects. This stamp set and punch is also the featured set for my club for this month. So registrations for that are open until the 15th. Ordering period for the online class to go, so for these 3 projects, is until Saturday of this week. And that is all for tonight. Thank you for joining me. Have a great week, and I'll see you next week. Bye.